Let me tell you a story. When I started to perform code reviews, I worked with a developer that just could not take criticism. Whenever I made a comment on his pull request, he got angry and thought I was picking on him. He just could not take criticism. Or maybe I wasn't very good in giving constructive criticism. I'm Boris, I'm a software engineer from Tel Aviv. My boss told me that only for the last 2 months I made more than 300 code reviews. And I want to tell you how you can review the code without making other developers feel bad. Basically, a code review is a process where developers visually inspect a piece of program code. The original intent is to help us to take a collective ownership in the creation of our software and share knowledge between the developers. The problem comes when someone has written a code, he has thought about the best way to do that, he has put his time, his soul maybe, and now you need to criticize his work. Once I heard an interesting fact that both words criticize and critique are coming from the same Greek word. But if criticize usually means to express disapproval or make judgments, the word critique is not that bad in our case, as it generally refers to a detailed analysis or evaluation of something. So don't criticize, give an honest critique. You need always to keep in mind that a developer who has written a code has a good intent. He just wants to do his job as good as he can. During the code review, show him that you just want to give him your honest feedback. You don't want to show him his mistakes if there are any. You want to think together with him how the code could be improved. So choose your words wisely. Don't demand, use suggestive, collaborative and encouraging words. And you'll see how that changes the tone of the discussion. Instead of move this method to a service, try something like, perhaps it might be more readable if we move this method to a service. Don't forget you work in a team. Never treat the code you review as their code. It's our code. One day you'll have to use the same class, you'll have to use the same API. Literally, at some point down the road, you may find yourself working on the same pull request you are reviewing today. If you see something in the pull request that doesn't look right, go ahead and say something. Maybe you get it wrong. You may not be right, that's okay. But what if you are right? Just leave the comment in the pull request. Reading the code is hard. Sometimes I just pull the branch I review to see the code in my environment. Sometimes it's not enough for me to just read it on GitHub or Bitbucket. I feel that I just really need to touch this code to understand what it does. It's better to invest more time now than to have regrets later. And stop nitpicking. Nitpicking isn't about the code that is wrong but suboptimal. It's pointing out a variable name that could use a more appropriate word or a space before a bracket. Nits don't result in significantly better code, nor do they educate the developer. It's just the waste of time. You have valuable and encouraging things that you have to say in that code review. But if you want to add a couple of words about variable name or formatting, go ahead, do that. But please make it clear in your comment that now you are nitpicking, and never make it to be a blocker. Trust your colleagues. If I see that my comment is not critical, but I think that probably it's nice to make my colleagues understand my thoughts, I can leave a comment and still approve the pull request. I leave it to a developer to decide, but I don't want to be a blocker for him if it's something that is not critical. Also, I never push request changes button or whatever it's called. I believe if I leave a comment, an author will address it. Request changes button feels more like a demand and not a collaboration. As I have already said, I trust my teammates. But despite my trust, regardlessly of author's skill level and the urgency of a situation, I approach each code review with the same level of commitment. So never rubber stamp it. Never. Writing code in an organization is a teamwork, so there is never their code. It's our code. Keep it in mind. Use the words during the code review that you would like to see when someone will review your code. Think twice before writing a comment. The pull request will be merged faster, the code base will be better, and the developers will be more happy. Hope you found this video helpful. See you in the next one.